there was reason to believe that there was some of that was factual, there would be a special prosecutor appointed. Does anybody think that the rogue attorney general is going to appoint a special prosecutor? No, because he's implicated in all of this. This is an example of all of the president's henchmen.
Here now, Trey Gowdy, former House Oversight Committee chairman and now a Fox News contributor. Always good to see you, Trey. Thank you for being here. What's your reaction to what Speaker Pelosi had to say there?
It's a lot of ifs in that sentence. I thought it was maybe a logic question initially. There has to be a crime for special counsel to be appointed. You're not appointed to look into your political enemies. There has to be a crime. And the only crimes that I have heard alleged against Bill Barr is that his name was mentioned in a transcript in a conversation he did not participate in, and most recently, that he may be friends with Rudy Giuliani, Victoria Toensing, and Joe DeGenova. I'm almost positive that being friends with those three people is not a crime. And I know that having your name mentioned in a transcript when you're not a participant in the phone call is not a crime. So I don't know. I know she's upset because he's doing a good job. I know that she's upset because he's a really smart, good lawyer, but that's not sufficient reason to call for special counsel.
I mean, there have been a lot of indications that the Attorney General was not that pleased with the whole story of what was going on in, Ukraine and Rudy Giuliani going over there and having it be sort of extracurricular from the DOJ and all of that. So if anything, it appears that he was sort of pushing back against some of that. At least it's been suggested. And I just want to read the statement from the Department of Justice spokeswoman, Carrie Kupak, who said that it's 100% false what Lev Parnas has professed there. She went on to say the president has not spoken with the Attorney General about having Ukraine investigate anything relating to former Vice President Biden or his son. The president has not asked the Attorney General to contact Ukraine on this or any other matter. The Attorney General has not communicated with Ukraine on this or any other subject, nor has the Attorney General discussed the matter or anything related to Ukraine with Rudy Giuliani. That's a repeat, actually, of a September 25th statement. But apparently Nancy Pelosi puts a lot more credence in Lev Parnas, who's, facing trial than she does in the statement of the Attorney General of the United States.
Yeah, so contrast what Bill Barr, whether you like him or not, and I happen to like him a lot, has a really, really good reputation. And he's not currently under indictment either, by the way. Contrast that with what Lev Parnas said. And even in the interview, he starts off with absolute certitude. He knows it. And then the next thing out of his mouth is, well, he had to. And then the third thing out of his mouth is probably. So he regresses 3 stages in the course of the same answer from absolute certitude to probably. You're just not going to get a conviction or even the appointment of special counsel based on what somebody under federal indictment with a motive to lie thinks is possible. It just doesn't work that way.
Let me ask you this, because, this evidence is sort of trickling out as we get closer to the Senate trial on all of this, and we heard Adam Schiff, who we've heard before, say that there's way more than people know. And he said, well, this is just part of it. We're expecting a lot more evidence. What do you think Lev Parnas is hoping to save himself from by speaking out at this point? Is he doing himself any favors as he enters the legal process here?
He is not. Same thing, Michael Cohen. Remember, Michael Cohen went before a House committee and wants what's called a 5K 1.1 or a Rule 35. He wants a sentence reduction. That's the same thing Lev Parnas wants. He wants credit for cooperating.
But doesn't that usually happen behind closed doors and not in front of a camera?
Yeah, prosecutors don't like it when you do your cooperating on MSNBC. They want you to cooperate with someone who's objective and fact-centered, can actually use the information for something other than political expediency. So no, it's not going to work. You ask, why is he doing it? Lots of people throw Hail Mary past us. There's nobody there to catch them.
So with regard to what I mentioned in the beginning here, this story that's just sort of coming out from the New York Times, that there's another investigation into Jim Comey leaking and that it's coming from the DOJ. The New York Times says essentially this is a leak that happened a long time ago. Usually those are followed up on right away. And they suggest that there could be some political motivation in this investigation. Any thoughts on that, Trey?
Martha, I am not a fan of Jim Comey, but I am a fan of being fair. And I know the fact pattern that is referenced in this story. And Jim Comey was asked behind closed doors in a classified setting to address it, and he would not do it. His response was it was so highly classified, he wasn't even going to tell people that were cleared to hear it in a classified setting. So let the record be clear, I'm not a fan of Jim Comey's, but I am a fan of being fair to people, and I'm not going to indict him or convict him based on New York Times reporting. And my experience with him on this very fact pattern, the subject of the article, he would not address it even in a setting where he could do so. And it would have benefited him